welcome to another episode of Hotel Room Yap with Michaela. Today, I will be doing my nails because they are quite atrocious. I had to start doing my own nails. Well, I didn't really do much to them until like a couple weeks ago because my nails were separating from my nail beds. Woo! So I had to stop going to the salon and wait for them to heal a little bit, and then going to all the conventions the last couple weeks, I was like, okay, we need to cover the evidence. So yeah, I'm going to be refreshing them, and I have to go to Miami. Yes? Yes. I am coming at you live from the floor of the Waldorf Astoria in Orlando after a couple days of Disney and nail wreckage, and I am clipping the microphone to me today. We will see how this goes. Hopefully I don't fluff it. Hello. Too much. All right. Oh my goodness. It has been a weekend. A week? It's been a long few days. It's been a long couple of days, to be perfectly candid with you. Yeah, I am a little bit tired. I changed my flight this morning to one a little bit later today because, can she open this? Maybe, maybe not. There we go. Changed my flight to a little bit later because originally I was supposed to leave at like 11:30, and I have late checkout, and this is a beautiful room, as you can tell. The couch is really pretty. The carpet is very comfortable. That's like a very specific thing, but it's like a slightly thicker carpet, I feel like, than usual. So yeah, ooh, interesting. I got this nail polish remover from Olive and June. Nourishing nail polish remover pot with vitamin E and chamomile acetone free. We will see. We will see. Okay, very cool. So I am going to try to relax for the next couple hours and redo my nails and talk to you guys and repack a little bit. Maybe go for a quick swim? I don't know. We'll see. I'm wondering if I put you like here. Maybe. Testing. Yeah, okay. Okie dokie. Speaking of today's events, I wanted to talk to you guys about changing your mind. I feel very flustered sometimes changing my mind at a certain scale, if that makes sense. So I've gotten better about like changing my mind over small things, or, okay, here's an example. At Hollywood Studios the other day, we all went to get lunch at, oh gosh, there's like a little diner drive-in themed restaurant. I can't remember what it is called, but you go in, it's very cute. It's very cute. They have lots of little car booths with like microphones, and it's like a drive-in movie themed restaurant. And so we went in, and they sat us at a table that was not like really a car the same way. So like they're literally set up so that there are rows of seats like you're in a car facing the drive-in. And then some of them for like bigger parties have just a table between like the front and back bumper of a car, but like you're sitting at like a normal table. And so they sat us at this normal table, and we were like, oh, this is like not the point of like going to a place like this. And so we, you know, they were kind of sitting there. Somebody in our party made a comment about being like, oh, like this isn't really like the cars. So I got up, went and asked like one of the servers, I was like, hey, like I see there's a couple other like tables about to be ready. Like, could we wait for one of those? They had us go back to the front and like wait an extra, just a couple minutes, just an extra couple minutes. It wasn't like anything crazy, but it was like a hassle, right? But I think the hassle is worth it, because then we sat down and we were like, yay, we get to like sit at the cute little car table and like actually enjoy the, you know, the way that it's supposed to be. It was great. We ended up having a great lunch, although it did take like 2 hours, and I'm like, did they just hate us for asking to change tables? Anyway, a lot of people wouldn't do that, but I don't know. I'm of the mind where like, I think you should do that. And also I would want you to do that with me. Like if you aren't happy with something, tell me, and let's change it. Like that happens sometimes with people at my table. where people like come back because they accidentally smudged part of their autograph, or they got my autograph a few years ago and they were like, hey, like my name is kind of coming off, like can you rewrite it? Just little things like that. And I'm like, sure, abso-freaking-lutely. Let's make it happen. Like if there's a way for me to make your experience more enjoyable, let's do that. Quick side note, Olive and June acetone-free nourishing nail polish remover. Freaking killing the game. That's crazy. Wow, that came right off. Wow, that's very impressive. Yeah, this is the sad state of my nails. If you can see the little white ridges, yeah, that's where the nail is still separated from the nail bed. So attractive, I know. Anyway, so that moment, I guess, kind of, yeah, just was like a reminder, teacher, I don't know, of just like, I want people to change their mind if they want to change their mind. So on a bigger level, this could apply to today. So this morning I woke up, I had a pickup organized, scheduled, a flight scheduled, and I don't know, just something when I woke up this morning, I was like, man, I really do not want to leave in an hour. No one is waiting for me on the other end of this. I'm early. I'm staying in Florida because I'm in Miami this upcoming weekend. You know, so nobody's going to be picking me up on the other side anyway. I'd be Ubering to the hotel. The hotel might not have been available for me to check in once I landed anyway, because I was going to be landing at like 12:30, so it was probably going to be kind of early. Yeah, and I have the room until 4 p.m., and I was going to be leaving at like 9:30, and I, you know, paid a decent amount for this particular room because since I booked last minute, I wasn't sure what like everybody's Disney's plans were going to be, and so I just kind of waited, and so it was one of the few options available that was close to the parks, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, and so I was like, man, okay, I could do nothing, leave at 9:30, go to Miami, blah, 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 blah. Or I could check to see if I can cancel my flight and still use it as a credit later. Like if it was gonna cost me money to fully cancel my flight, then I wouldn't have done it. But it gave me back a credit to use for a future flight because they were already like overbooked, trying to like rebook people to later flights. So I was like, okay, cool. Take that as like some sort of positive reinforcement perhaps. And then I had to contact the person who was like helping coordinate my pickup, and I was just like, hey, looks like I'm gonna be leaving later. Is it possible to, you know, coordinate with a driver to pick up later, or if they need to cancel, if it's too late, I will just Uber. Like, I feel like there's a balance of like taking some responsibility for some things if they can't be rescheduled, right? And he was like, no, like that should be fine. And I was like, okay, cool. And I found a flight leaving at like 7, so I can check out at 4 and just take my time. And I think all of that, it didn't end up costing me any more, right? I mean, I'm trying to do like luggage cost calculations because the second one would be like, yeah, it's gonna end up being like the same exact price. So it cost me like, I don't know, 30 an hour maybe of booking and kind of, you know, organizing, reorganizing, whatever. But then I get to spend the rest of my afternoon here and do my nails and maybe go to the pool, blah, 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 blah. But I felt truly so anxious for the first, like, during that hour of rebooking. And I still did it because I wanted to, obviously. But I was like, why am I freaking out? Like, why am I panicked at the thought of like rescheduling this? And I was thinking about why I would be panicked about rebooking something, because it didn't cost me any more. Nobody is like mad at me for rebooking. Like there's literally zero reason, aside from my own like expectations, I guess. And I'm wondering if it's tied to just growing up without a lot of money, like changing anything when I was younger, changing a flight, changing the plan. If there was an unexpected factor, it usually caused stress financially. And I think that is a very, very normal thing. And that is also very true for lots of circumstances, of course. If a flight gets canceled, if plans change, whatever, like you end up having an emotional and financial stress. Some of this is not fully English because I'm multitasking, so please bear with me. But I just thought that was interesting because I was thinking about like dance competitions and like theater and stuff with school where like unexpected costs came up and it was stressful. And adding on extra or doing something more would often cause some sort of stress. So that was just something interesting to notice, to take note of. And I kind of, I guess, like sat with myself with that and was like, okay, these are valid feelings. This would be something that maybe we would need to worry about before, but we do not need to worry about right now. And it was kind of this little unlearning moment. And also I would love to be one of those people that deals with surprise and stress and adversity calmly. I am not there yet, as many people know. No. But I would love to be, you know, there are some people who their bag gets lost or the reservation gets canceled or they show up and they're like, oh, we weren't expecting you till tomorrow. I don't know, whatever. And they're just like, oh, okay, well, here's the information, blah, blah, blah. Do what you can. And then they just roll with it. And so I strive to be like those people. And so, yeah, that was just like a little interesting moment. So I guess I wanted to share that because perhaps you find yourself doing similar things. Maybe you're starting to grow or change or kind of exist in a new space, around new friends, different environments, and you're having kind of a previous reaction to circumstances that are no longer valid to you, if that makes sense. And I just thought it was interesting how flustered I was, even though there was literally no like repercussion, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. It was a very interesting moment for me this morning. I'm curious if you guys would like to share in the comments. I'm also cleaning out under my nails right now. That is what is occurring. It's very tricky with this whole nail bed separation thing. Eee! Okay, we're kind of getting there. This is good. But yeah, if you guys are open to sharing, have you guys experienced this? Do you feel stressed whenever plans change, or whenever you don't know the plan, or when something ends up costing more than you thought it would? Do you freak out? Did your parents freak out? Do you handle it calmly? What's your takeaway these days? Ooh, that is... I was able to get most of this cleaned, but not all of it. The polish, yes. Olive and June, freaking killing the game. Under the nails, not so much. Also, points. Points are fun. If you travel, a lot, a little, whatever, just start collecting points because it can be nice for upgrades. I did not reserve this room. No. When I checked out initially, I very much just got a normal, king bed, whatever room, and then when I checked in, I was like, hey, can we check for any upgrades? And thankfully, since it was a Monday, Tuesday, this was available with a whole little living room section. But yeah, this is not what I normally purchase. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just kind of yapping away here. I was expecting to be a little further along on my nails, but they have proven to take more time than I thought, but that is okay. Ow. Do any of you guys have nail problems? Ow. All right, I guess that just is what it is. Next, I'm going to use this Nail Teaks Formula 2, which is supposed to help strengthen and nourish weak nails. And I'm going to use this OPI Got the Blues for Red shade, and then the OPI Drip Dry Lacquer Drying Drops on top. Yay. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's pretty much it for my thoughts today. Just curious if you guys have had any experience with being stressed at plans changing, I changed lots of plans in the last couple of days, and each time felt like guilty for changing the plans. And I already told you, obviously, where I think it stems from. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of a new feeling that I'm working through, like, getting over. Because also, this was my, I guess, next thought. In order to, I guess, expand mentally, you know, grow mentally, financially, I think that you need to be okay with plans changing or wanting to change your plans and then actually doing it. Because I feel like lots of people, I mean, I'm not saying that we need to get to Kardashian level where I'm sure they change their mind constantly and it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. But your comfort and like what makes you happy is important. So if there's something that could make you a lot happier or calmer or, you know, et cetera, fill in the word, you should do it as long as it's, you know, not affecting work or other people and prior commitments, or people have certain expectations of like what's going to happen. But if it's just truly you, who are you hurting by adjusting that schedule, you know? Especially if it means that you have more time to mentally and physically recover, move a little slower. I'm working on moving a little bit slower. It's not my strong suit. I'm usually used to moving 5,000 miles a minute. Yeah, and so that is kind of at the forefront of my mind today with deciding to stay. Because even while I was eating breakfast, I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't know why. I was just like anxious for zero reason. There is nobody waiting for me in Miami. No plans, no reservations, no person. I mean, I have to check into my other hotel, sure, but like there's not a specific person from like the convention who's working there who's gonna be doing it. And maybe it's just because it's Florida and I've only been to Florida one other time, so it's still kind of a, well, I've been to Florida, I should take that back. I've been to Florida more than one other time, but for work in the last like few years, I've only been to Florida once. And I think I visited a friend in Miami in college, and then I had a work trip in Orlando a few years ago. There's one other trip to Florida with like my mom, I think, so 3 times? And then, oh well, I guess 4 times, because I came to Walt Disney World for just literally 2 days in 2018. So I guess this is my 5th time, but they've all been pretty short trips, and I have not traveled a ton within Florida, so maybe that's why. And maybe it's also because I have tons to do, so I'm just generally stressed. We will see. We will see why. All right, strengthening layer is on. Gonna let that dry for a bit, and then add my red. Okay, well, thank you for joining me. Oh, my goodness, my book. 1 second. How could we forget the book? Yes, we are still in this book. It's been very hard for me to read consistently, so we're doing our best. Let's just see. Why do books open at like this book in particular opens at the beginning of chapters? Like I feel like there's a little thing, and I don't want it to be the middle of a chapter. No! I know I'm breaking my own rules here, guys, but it's because I feel like the book is controlling more of where I land than the randomness of my choice. There we go. Okay. With unshakable faith, we work under the assumption that the problem is already solved. The answer is out there. Perhaps it's obvious. We just haven't come across it yet. Okay. Relating it to today's yapping. Yeah, with unshakable faith, we work under the assumption that the problem is already solved. So I guess, you know, some of the stress could come from the idea that like changing plans means that they're not reliable. or that changing plans slash any financial burden is like unresolvable or a bad thing. Yeah, the answer's out there. Perhaps it's obvious, we just haven't come across it yet. So, you know, the answer to my stress or being stressed or anxious about like changing plans and money and such, yeah, maybe it'll come to a head. Maybe I've already hit the nail on the head with like why the stress exists, but maybe not. Well, thank you for joining me. Sorry that you get a boring, plain nail show as opposed to my pretty red being done, but my yapping probably made my process a little slower. So I'm gonna finish up my nails and, I don't know, play some music. Hopefully you guys found this somewhat interesting. Perhaps you found it completely unrelatable. Perhaps you'll find it relatable in a couple years or in a couple months. Who knows? But I definitely encourage you to start changing the plan if it sounds like something you want to do. It is okay to change your mind. I think that is another thing that for some reason felt like a bad thing growing up. I don't know if it's from where I was raised or what, but like changing your mind felt stressful. Yeah, so anyway, if something sounds more interesting, or if you change your mind and don't like something or like the idea of something, I encourage you to maybe start feeling more comfortable changing your mind and changing the plans. You know, as long as it's not disrupting like an entire room of people or hurting anybody. Thank you once again for joining me for Hotel Room Yap, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.